This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Are you still cutting your own grass? Are you still trying to get your landscaping to look perfect on your own? That sounds sweaty. That sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like a job for Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Family owned and operated, Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services, located on Kern Street in Exeter near Blue Ribbon Dairy, has the quality and experience to get your yard looking its best. The Garden Center offers plants, trees, sod, mulch, rocks, flowers, topsoil, grass seed, straw bales, and much more, while the Lawn and Landscaping Services offers mowing, trimming, planting, and full landscaping. Visit them on their social media pages for more info. Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Get your free estimate today. Welcome to the Popko Project podcast, a platform for the discussion and discovery of arts and entertainment. We focus on highlighting people and events that add value to the world around us. Visit us on all social media platforms by searching the Popko Project, or visit our website at thepopkoproject.com. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for listening. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Doing okay.
Art Alexakis from Everclear.
It's Alexakis.
Alexakis. Well, thank you for correcting me.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm very sorry. I should know better, right?
No, it's all right.
Man, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing well.
30 years of Everclear.
Absolutely.
How does that feel?
People ask me that, and it's always like I have to think about it because I want to give you a genuine answer. Sometimes it's disbelief. Sometimes it's just like, I want to give the pat answer. Oh, it feels great. Blah 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 blah. But sometimes it literally just is a mix of emotions. It seems like longer sometimes, and it seems like literally a blink of an eye of just like, wow. Man, because I've been doing it. I've been in the middle of it, and it's hard to get perspective while you're still in it. And I'm still in it. We're still touring. We're still making new music. We're putting out old music and reimagining it, and it's fun. And one thing has changed is that I used to, like most people, you do things you don't want to do because you feel you have to do them. I don't do that anymore. If it isn't fun, if it doesn't spark joy, very Marie Kondo. If it doesn't do that, I don't want to do it, and I don't. I'm not rich by any measurement. I need to work for a living, but I turn down stuff now because it just doesn't seem like fun.
That's a good spot to be in.
It is a good spot to be in. I think it's something that's just made my I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person at all, but I'm very spiritual, and I just feel like when I do that, I just shrug off all this weight and I just feel free, and that's a good way to feel. Especially at the age of 60, right?
Yeah, you've been doing it for a long, long time. And I definitely grew up with Everclear. And I say that because so many of the albums and songs were part of my life. I know when Santa Monica came out, I was in middle school, and then So Much for the Afterglow was high school. And so it was like all these big moments of my life are tied to your music. And it's such a cool feeling and experience, and I'm sure you get that a lot, just people being able to share that with you. So
I do, but you know what? I never get jaded about it. That's just, I know I feel that about other people's music. To this day, I can hear a song and it takes me back to 1973, right? It takes me back to being 11 years old. I remember where I was. I remember the idea I had when I connected with lyrics that it just opened up a world for me, right? Or it made me feel better about myself. Like listening to the song when I was a kid, Papa Was a Rolling Stone by the Temptations, you know, that used to make me cry because even though that wasn't my dad's story, my dad wasn't there, you
Yeah.
know, and that was rough, but it made me feel not alone to hear something like that. And when people tell me that about Father of Mine, I get it. I understand it because I wrote that song for me. I write all my songs for me. I think all songwriters do, unless you're trying to write to make product, which I've never been interested in. I've got friends who are like become like Nashville songwriters, and they're like, "Man, you should do this. You'd be killer at this." I'm like, I have no interest whatsoever. Sitting down to write songs every day doesn't sound like fun. Writing songs is fun, but doing it as a day job, punching a clock, nah, not for me.
Yeah, I mean, all of your music is very genuine. It's honest. It's relatable for people. And you talk about, relationships, whether it's with a girl and relationships with your kid, um, relationship with your father, or the lack thereof. I mean, you really put it all out there.
I do, and I appreciate you saying that. And that's the highest compliment you can pay me is that you feel like it's genuine and real, because I write I don't write every song from autobiographical point of view. I'd say about 30%. Another 30%, I take different things in my life and ideas I've had and fears and dreams and and build characters so they are coming from a very personal place, but they're not autobiographical. And then the other 30% is I just write, I just come up with stories. And if I can do that and people have a hard time telling the difference between the three or they can't tell the difference, I'm doing my job as a songwriter.
Yeah.
As a songwriter.
Yeah, and you've been doing it for 30 years, probably longer, but officially as Everclear for 30 years. And I
Yeah.
mean, I thought I was the world's biggest Everclear fan, and I was proven wrong by your um, release on social or this streaming platforms of World of Noise.
It gets a little scary, dude.
Well, for me, it's like I'm like shame on me for not knowing that. But good for me because now I have a new Everclear record to listen to, right?
There's some really nice people on the Everclear pages. They're very, very helpful, but there's a few that are like pretty deep in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so what's it like to kind of revisit that and put it out there for people to consume? And
Well, the Uber fans have been asking for it for years, to put it on social platforms, and I just wasn't really happy with the way the the mastering sounded, the EQ sounded on the Capitol version that came out in '94. And when it went out of print and it reverted to me in '99, I didn't do anything about it. But there wasn't social platforms in '99. Then about 2009, 2010, that became a thing. And I just didn't want to put out that same stuff. I knew I might have to. I was just hoping I could find something somewhere. I thought the tapes were gone, and I found them this year in January in a trunk, all taped up in the back of my storage. And I found all the tapes, all my tapes, going back to Colorfinger, the band before Everclear, Easy Hose, the band before that, and even Shaking Brave, the band, my first band of me writing lyrics and singing songs and being a front guy from like '86, '87. I got those original mastered mixtapes, so I'm stoked, and it just sounded so much better than the Capitol version. So that's why I wanted to put it out this year, and I wanted to put it on digital platforms for people because I mean the only way you could get it is buying the album or the CD, and they were going for hundreds of dollars, and that just isn't right. Music shouldn't cost that much. I think you should pay for music, but I don't think you should pay that much. I think $10 a record is fair, you know.
yeah,
And so the vinyl will come out early next year, and we'll probably put out Color Finger next year or after that, and we've got a new single that we're going. I've decided to write and make a single twice a year, and we got a song coming out called "The Year of the Tiger." That's good. It just sounds like vintage, sparkle and fade era, Everclear kind of heroin girlish sounding
Nice.
song, and it's a political song. It'll be out in probably September, October.
Okay, very cool. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Um, and upcoming, I mean, I think you're obviously on tour now, and July 14th, you'll be at Penn's Peak, which is where around from where I'm from. I had the pleasure of seeing you there back in 2013
Right.
with Filter, and I think Alien
Live.
Ant Farm may have been a part of that.
Nope. It's
No,
Filter,
different show.
Live,
Live,
and
yes.
Sponge.
Sponge. Okay, yes. Alien Ant Farm must have been a different show, same place.
It was
Um,
Summerland. Yeah, it was Summerland.
yeah, and then I saw you around here at it's the Mohegan Sun Arena. Back then, I don't know what it was called back then, but it was like 2000 or 2001. You were with Matchbox 20.
Yep.
So again, I followed you for a long time, and um, unfortunately, I won't be able to be at the Penn's Peak show on Thursday the 14th. My wife is due with our daughter on
Was
Monday the 11th.
your first baby?
It'll be our second. Our second. We have a 4.5-year-old little boy.
Oh, you got a boy and girl. You're done, man.
They say yeah, the all-American family, right?
No, that's great. I had two daughters, and I love being the father of a daughter. It's a great thing. Um,
Any
but
tips? Any tips for a girl
yeah,
dad?
yeah. So they're going to love you like no other woman's ever loved you before. Not even your wife, not your mom, yeah, until they're about 12.
Do they hate you then?
No, I don't think they hate
Close?
you. Sometimes, but they come back.
Yeah.
And I have a really great relationship with my 14-year-old. I'm saying that, of course, because she's over there in the corner. Um, no, it's just a lot of work, man. You just have to keep working at any relationship, even being married. It just doesn't
Yeah.
happen. You got to keep working, and you got to grow together, not apart. And I've been with my daughter's mom for almost 18 years,
Yeah, that's
and
great.
it was my fourth marriage, and I finally figured it out, and I, with the right person, and it's still the best relationship and friendship of my life, and that I think that security helps my daughter feel more secure, unlike my oldest daughter, you know. And it's just you learn, man. You just learn. You're going to learn by making mistakes, and you're going to learn by doing successful stuff. Can you see what that is?
Is that housekeeping?
Calling the hotel room.
It's housekeeping. They want to clean your room.
What are they saying?
Oh no, did we lose him? Did we lose Art? We may have lost Art. That might be a wrap for Art Alexakis from the band Everclear on the Popko Project. Unfortunate, but at least I got a few minutes with him. We'll give him a second to see if he jumps back on here. But he's traveling. He said he was in Kentucky. He's in a hotel room right now, so the internet might be spotty where he is. But yeah, I think we lost him. Unless he comes back in. We'll see. Come back in, Art. Please come back in. It's weird. I was not kidding when I said, I mean, I grew up with Everclear, huge fan of Everclear. I remember when I was, it was when Their album came out in 2000. What was it called? I forget the name of the song. The album. I think it was Songs from an American Movie, Part One. I remember the girl I was seeing at the time. She was doing something, and I had her mom drive me to the Gallery of Sound locally, and so I can pick up the record. And we're actually leaving to go on a. Oh, I think he's back. I think he's back. There's no audio yet, but I think you're muted. I think you're on mute. I think you're frozen. You there? I think he's back.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah. Your screen's frozen, but that's okay.
Okay. I can. It's not a good connection. That's weird.
Yeah, it happens. You're on the road, man. I may have lost him again. But I was telling a story about getting that record, and we were on our way to go see Dave Matthews play in New Jersey, but I had to get that record before we hit the road, because it was just, I love that band. I love Everclear. I think he's back. Let's try again. I think he's back.
Hold on.
No worries.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly now. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Done? Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
I just went to my iPhone. I went to the cell phone.
Perfect. No worries. I appreciate it. I was just telling a story, trying to fill some the dead air. Just how important the band has been, in my life. I mentioned that earlier, but not important to you right now. We're talking about, families and kids and just how important that is. Yeah, to each of us.
Right.
And it's really cool that your daughter gets to come out with you.
She's been doing it since she was like 3 or 4 with her mom, and then by the time I think she was 8 or 9, right in there was the first time that she came out with me. And I would fly home and get her and then fly back and fly back with her. But the last couple of years and this year, she wanted to fly by herself. So we're flying her home by herself like we did last year. And so that's interesting.
Does that make you nervous?
She's very, yeah, hell yeah, it makes me nervous.
I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine.
You really, you're gonna put, there's people who put their kids, they're like 3. My wife, my daughter's mom, Vanessa, her parents, her dad, they were in Boston. When they divorced, he moved back to South Carolina and took her to court to get partial custody. She didn't get custody, got visitation. And she had to send her 4-year-old daughter on a plane by herself every, and that went on for like 10 years. Wow. And he'd be late to pick her up at the airport. She'd just be sitting there. I mean, come on. It's just like, man, I just couldn't imagine. Because, I'm just like, the thing now is that when you take them to the airport and you put, and they're underage, you have to wait there till the plane is in the air, literally in the air, and wait at the gate. And they tell you, the plane's in the air, sir. You're good to go. And then I can leave.
Yeah. And you have to wear like some kind of badge too, like, right? Some kind of like big that says like
I think that's for little kids. I don't think so. I think for her they give her wings, or something like. Yeah. But they walk her on board like someone at the gate walks her on board, and they know that the flight attendants know she's there, and they keep an eye on her.
And if there's someone creepy, sitting next to her, they'll move that person. That's never happened to my daughter, but I've seen that happen to other people. As a matter of fact, I remember this one kid was sitting there and his mom was like 2 rows over because this guy wouldn't move, so she could sit next to her kid. And he's talking to her kid like, "Oh, that's really fun. Show me some stuff." And, he's sitting there drinking down highballs. And I looked to the lady next to me. I go, "I don't like that." She goes, "I don't like that at all." And we called the lady. And the lady came and kicked the guy off the plane. Just kicked him off the plane. He was drunk. And other people had complained that he was inappropriate. Just kicked his butt off the plane. And she got to sit next to her mom, which is awesome.
Yeah. And, what's it like, being... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, obviously you wrote the song Father Mine and your father was not in your life, so to speak. I mean, how important was it, when you became a father to make sure that you were, different and present?
Well, that's kind of a weird question considering that's why I wrote the song. It says in the song, I'm not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
It was very important. And, I remember before I wrote the song, I was watching my oldest daughter sleep when she was like 7. And, parents just watch their baby sleep sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just didn't understand how someone could walk away from that. How do you walk away from that? How do you do that?
Yeah.
I just didn't understand. And you know what? I don't have ill feelings towards my father. I don't. He died a few years ago. I didn't know him very well. I'd lived with him a couple of times, but I didn't know him like my mom. My mom raised me. My mom was my mom and my dad and everything. She believed in me. She sometimes didn't believe in me. It wasn't always, sunshine and rainbows, but she was always there for me. She always took care of me. I was always loved, and I was always had food to eat and a place to live and clean clothes and a role model that I could base my life on in a positive way.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And my mom passed about 16 years ago, and I still miss her. I still got her phone number in my phone.
Yeah.
Still got her cell phone in my phone.
My dad passed away 17 years ago. I still have his number in my phone, and what I wouldn't give to have him be able to call again. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know, right? If it ever calls your phone, you're going to be like, "What the?"
Well, funny story is,
where's the cameras?
Funny story is,
am I in the Jordan Peele movie? Am I black?
Well, when I was a year or two after my dad passed, my mom gave his cell phone to my uncle. And so my uncle had his number, and I didn't change my dad's number in my phone or whatever. And my uncle called me, and I got a phone call from my dad. I'm like, "What is going on here?" It was my uncle. It was my uncle, obviously, but yeah, it was a weird moment.
But that's still creepy.
Yeah, because I didn't know that prior that my mom gave my dad's cell phone to her brother.
Yeah, I'm sure my mom's number is someone else's number. It probably has been for a decade, or more. But I just like seeing it there on my phone.
Yeah. And obviously, a couple of years ago, you've addressed your fans with the unfortunate news that you have MS. How has that hindered you, if at all? And I mean, has working through that and dealing with that, have you found out something about yourself that you didn't know before?
Well, to answer that question, no, I've always known I was very tenacious. I've always known I've known for a while that I'm tenacious and able to persevere through hard times. One thing that happened with it that I wasn't aware of what I would feel was I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for my disease. It makes me try harder because everything's harder. You're a young man, but as you get older, you're going to notice things get harder. Physical things get harder. Mental things get harder. Your cognition isn't what it was. Everything's a little hard. You have to try harder as you get older. And, let's say MS adds another 10, 15 years on it. I have to try even harder, and I have to work harder to go out and play every night and to be there for my family and to have that energy. Because one of the things MS does is it fatigue, physical fatigue and mental fatigue. And it's hard to push through it sometimes, but I'm able to do it. And I'm grateful because that's made me tougher and more patient with the world around me and more compassionate to the world around me as well. So I'm grateful for my disease. I am. Would I rather not have it? Yeah,
of course.
But that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's like, that's rainbows and unicorns. I have it. That's fact. And I'm grateful for it because instead of just being a negative thing, it's helped me become a better person in other ways. I don't walk as well as I used to. My balance isn't great. I get a little forgetful sometimes. I don't know if it's that or age or what, probably a combination of the two. But no, so I think I answered all your questions. I got to work harder, and I'm grateful for it.
But you're still playing rock shows. You're still giving us great performances, and
I'm 60 years old, and I'm still playing rock and roll every night, and making a living and taking care of my family, and providing for my band and their families, and we're doing it, and I plan on doing it for at least another 10 years.
I hope to see
if people still want to hear us do it. We'll see.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, I'm super excited for the new music to come out. I wish I could come see you on July 14th at Penn's Peak. I'm sure tickets are still available, right, for that show? Yeah. It's a great venue. So
that's great.
And you have Fastball, another great band of the 90s, the Nixons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great bands from the 90s. All three of the bands, including Everclear, we're old school rock bands. We don't use tracks or Pro Tools or auto-tune or any of that stuff. We're real rock bands. We're out there doing it every night.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you're doing this like 30 years. I mean, I always say, like, for my generation, we have Pearl Jam, we have Foo Fighters, and we have Everclear. Like, we have these bands that are just staples that continue to give us great music and just, positive role models. I mean, not only do you share that in your music, but obviously as a person, talking to you right now, you're a positive role model for, guys like me to look up to. And so, thank you for everything. And when I said to you before about, following you for so long, I mean, you have no idea what an honor it is for you to do this on this podcast with me today. I can't thank you enough. So just thank you for everything.
You're welcome, John. Thank you. It was wonderful talking to you. Good luck with everything, and we'll be back around in the area again probably next year. So we'll see you then. And good luck with your new baby. I hope that goes well. Do you got a name picked out?
I do. Do you want to hear it? I haven't told anybody yet.
Are you sharing it? Well, it's going to be on a podcast.
I know, with a huge rock star. I will share it with you. My mom knows, my wife's mom knows, like, people close to us know, but I feel like this is a good moment to share it. All right. Our son's name is Lincoln. And our daughter's name is going to be London.
Where does that come from? Is Lincoln, first of all, does Lincoln come from Abraham Lincoln?
No. We were just looking for a name that wasn't plain like John. And looking back, I was like,
Lincoln's cool. I love Lincoln in London. And your last name's Popko?
Yeah, Popko. Yep.
Lincoln Popko, London Popko. Cool names, dude.
Yeah.
Well done.
I gave my son my name is his middle name. I wanted to, looking back, I wish I named him John, but I wanted to have him have his own thing.
No, I think you did the right thing. That's how the Greeks do it. So I'm Arthur Paul. My dad's name was Paul. He was Paul Lewis. His dad's name was Lewis. His dad's name was Lewis Arthur. His dad's name, my great grandfather was Arthur, and I believe he was an Arthur Paul. Neat. Going back. So now I think getting outside of the family names is a good idea, but giving them your name as your middle name, I think is cool. I think it's cool. Like if we had a boy, we were going to name him Economos, because Economos is a Greek word for fortune, for good fortune. And it's also my mother-in-law's maiden name, or her mother. So I'm Greek. I'm half Greek. My wife's I think quarter Greek or eighth Greek, and so my daughter's Greek on both sides. And we just went to Greece for the first time in April.
Oh wow!
That any of us had ever been there. It was wonderful. Yeah. But good luck to you and your family, man.
Yes, thank you again thank you for everything, and keep on rocking, man.
All right, brother. I will.
All
See
right,
ya.
thanks. See ya. All right, a little shaky, little technical difficulties, but that was the interview with Art from the band Everclear. It's just wild that I've had the opportunity to talk to people like him and Tantric and the Verve Pipe and Cold and just bands that I grew up with, and I'm just so thankful for that. Thank you for listening. If you stuck through it, I know that there was a little bit of issues there, but I appreciate those who do tune in. Sorry I couldn't get to any of the questions that people had asked on social media. This interview was supposed to happen an hour and a half ago. It got bumped back. So Art is very busy. If you're watching this, you can see that he's in his hotel room. So I didn't want to get too bogged down with, generic stuff. So thank you for asking the questions. I do appreciate that. Thank you for getting involved with what I do. Thanks for being interactive. And I promise you that if you continue to ask those questions, I will do my best to get those into the artists and people that I speak to. So thank you again for listening. Thank you to my sponsors, Keller's Garden Center and Lawn Care Services, Ionic Development, the V-Spot Bar in Scranton, and stay tuned for some new sponsors that I have in the workings. They're going to be a great partner, and I'm looking excited. I'm looking forward to sharing them with you and what they offer. So thank you again, and you'll hear from me soon. See ya.